All right, team and family, on Friday we took an exit ticket, a longer one. Some of you, for those of you who did not, for those of you who did, once you take it, we're going to do just a quick review over some questions that we didn't do too well on. So on your front page, it should look like this. You're going to put your name in the front. You know what it is. Some of you awesome scholars can put the greatest history of all time. Everyone else can put boo-boo, Francis, diarrhea, Brazil, you know, all them other poo houses. We don't care. Let's take a look at question 1. So the question we're looking at says, which of the following list below correctly pairs the organisms and its role in the ecosystem above? So in order to answer this question, we need to know what role each organism plays in the ecosystem. There's a few things that I want us to jot down before we get started. One, an ecosystem is always going to begin with the producer. So let's write that down. Ecosystems always begin with producers. Okay? We know producers are the organisms that make their own food. Anything that eats a producer is going to be an herbivore. So we're going to write an H next to the organisms that are getting energy directly from the producer. Now, anything that eats the herbivore is a carnivore. So we have our frog, our praying mantis, our wren, the fox, and then anything that eats carnivores is going to be one of the top consumers. We call them tertiary consumers or apex predators. We're going to put a T for tertiary consumers. Okay? So which two answers can we eliminate and why? So if we see grass is herbivore, that's not an herbivore, so we know that's not correct. Squirrel herbivore, let's check. Squirrel herbivore. Okay. Fox carnivore, that's right. Let's see the other one. Falcon herbivore. We know it's a tertiary consumer. That's not right. Grass is producer. Snake carnivore. So there are two answer choices we eliminated, A and C. We eliminated A because grasses are not an herbivore. Instead, we wrote down that they are a producer. So write down we eliminated B. I'm sorry, A, because grasses are producers. And then we also eliminated C because falcons are not herbivores. Eliminated C because falcons are not herbivores. So I have two answer choices circled, but there's only one correct answer. We know the squirrel is an herbivore. We know the grass is producer. So now we're forced to look at the second organism. Frog, decomposer, snake, carnivore. Now, we didn't label any of the organisms in this food web a decomposer, so we know that B is also wrong. So the correct answer here is D. D is correct because grasses are producers and snakes are carnivores. We want to prove that snakes are carnivores by actually saying what the snakes eat. We can say that the snake eats the wren, or we can even say the snake eats the frog. So we're going to say snakes are carnivores that eat frogs. If you need to pause the video to get that down, go ahead and do so. If we take a look at the bottom question, it says, use the diagram from question 3. It's talking about the one up there. Which of the following organisms below can best be described as an herbivore? So now we have the praying mantis, frog, squirrel, and fox. We're trying to figure out which one is an herbivore. So it says, first, let's define the term herbivore. An herbivore is an organism that only eats plants. Make sure you're moving with urgency, because again, this is just a review to make sure when we take our big test in 2 weeks, We are stunting on them at KCCA, Math 15. Can't believe we don't care about them. We're about to kill them. But not for real, though. No violence. Violence is not the answer. So now we want to identify the role that each of these organisms plays in the ecosystem. Let's take a look at the praying mantis. Okay. Producer, herbivore. Boop. So it is going to be a carnivore because it eats meat. It eats the grasshopper. The frog, also a carnivore, it eats the grasshopper. And the squirrel, herbivore because it eats grass. And the fox. If we go back up, carnivore because it eats the squirrel. I wonder what squirrel meat is like. I actually don't wonder. I don't want to taste that at all. Disgusting. What is the correct answer? Remember, we were looking for the herbivore. So the correct answer is squirrel. C. Again, if you need to pause the video here, go ahead and do that. If not, you can go ahead and turn the page. Now, our next question should say, oh no, we might be a little bit out of order here, but that is okay. All right, we're going to flip back to page 1, starting up here. So it says, what type of organism always has the food chain? We answered that just a second ago. We know it's a producer. Where does this energy receive sunlight from? It should say, where does this organism receive energy from? So if this is our producer, where is this actually getting its energy from? I want you to draw a sun in the corner, draw an arrow going to the grass, and it gets its energy from sunlight. So in the diagram above, where does the energy in the ecosystem originally come from? Notice it says originally. Sunlight was not originally in the picture, but we need to know that when we're talking about a food web or a food chain, it always starts with the producer. The producer is going to get its energy from the sunlight. Therefore, this is the source of energy for this entire ecosystem to work. The correct answer is B. So it says place these living things in the correct place. What we want to do here is just write down each organism in its correct spot. So we did this on the previous page. We're just going to add it down here. We know grass is our producer. Primary consumers are also known as our herbivores. They only eat plants. That is our squirrel and grasshopper. We have our secondary consumers, which are the carnivores. They're going to eat these two items here. So we have our fox, the wren, praying mantis, and frog. Praying mantis, frog. And then our tertiary consumers, which are also called our apex predators. These are the top dogs in the food chain. Remember, these are the ones you don't want to mess with. You don't want to be like Jesse going around like, oh my goodness, let me go give that snake a hug. Don't do that. That's how you end up losing your life. Alrighty. We are done with this page. If you need to pause the video, go ahead and do that. If not, we're going to get back on track. You should be looking at the page that looks like this. So now we've switched our food web up just a little bit. Just first, we will write down the roles of each organism in this food web. What I want you to do is go ahead and write down the roles on your own and then try to answer the question. It'll take you about 2 minutes to do this. Now, don't be a loser. Actually pause the video and try it on your own. Hold your thumb up so that Ms. Talbert knows that you are working on this independently. Ready, set, go. All right, if we take a look, hopefully you got these answers correct. We know that our sedges, grasses, bulrushes, and algae, again, the very bottom of our food web, because we said food web always gives our producer. Producers here. Anything that the producers give energy to is going to be our primary consumers or the herbivores. We see that is the snail, grasshopper, and herring. Any items that eat the herbivores are going to be our secondary consumers, which is the rat, the bald eagle, and the salmon. And any organisms that eat those are going to be our tertiary consumers, are the marsh hawk. We can also count the bald eagle as a tertiary consumer if we follow this way. So producer, primary, secondary, tertiary. there's something very interesting about the herring. If you notice in the middle, the herring has two energy sources, so two organisms that give energy to it or that it eats. One is the producer, and one is an herbivore. Because this is a plant and this is an animal, our herring actually exists as an omnivore. That's why I wrote this big O next to it. So the herring can thus be described as an omnivore. We know that this is the correct answer because the herring, and make sure you make your paper look like mine, the herring eats both plants and animals. The sedges, just like a bush, and grasshoppers. Sounds delicious. Probably throw a little bit of barbecue sauce on it. Okay, if you need to pause there to get that down, go ahead. If not, we can keep going. The question down here says, wolves get their energy from eating rabbits. Rabbits get their energy from eating grass. The grass makes its own food, energy. If lots of the wolves were killed, then what I want you to do is create a food chain. Just write the words of the organisms here and answer these three questions before finally answering question 5. It should take you 2 minutes. Thumbs up so Ms. Talbert knows you're working independently. Ready, set, go. Right here, again, it says wolves get their energy from eating rabbits. Boom. So we're going to draw an arrow here. Rabbits get their energy from eating grass. Arrow here. Remember, these arrows mean give energy to. If lots of the wolves were killed, then we needed to figure out what would happen. So if our wolves are taken out of the equation, that means that there's no one to hunt the rabbits. Rabbits don't have to hide anymore. They can go out, go to Walmart on their own. They don't have to worry about the wolves killing them. The rabbit population is going to go up. But because the rabbit population goes up, it means that the rabbits are eating more. And what do rabbits eat? Unfortunately, the grass. That means that the grass population is going to go down, which is what you should have said here. The rabbit population would increase or go up. The grass population would decrease or go down. We needed to check to see if either one of these was the answer choice here. There would be more rabbits, fixed, but the answer to question 1, the rest of these are incorrect. Now for our last assignment, it said, what would happen to the largemouth bass if all the algae were removed from the pond? Describe what would happen to all 4 parts of this food chain. So if all of the algae were removed, remember, this is the first link in our food chain. So if there is no algae, there's no food for the insect, which means the insect dies, which means there's no food for the bluegill, which means the bluegill dies, which means there's no food for the largemouth bass, and the largemouth bass dies. So what we needed to do was just explain all of that in words. So if the algae were removed from the food chain, it would create a domino effect or ripple. When I say domino effect, it's like when we stack the dominoes and we hit one and they all fall down. This is an environmental domino effect. So if we knock the algae down, they're going to knock the insects, bluegill, largemouth, and so on and so forth. Or a ripple throughout the entire ecosystem. There would be no food for the insect, and therefore no food source for the bluegill. Once the bluegill population dies, the largemouth bass population will also die. So then we summarize all this in one final statement. In conclusion, if the producers are removed from the ecosystem, all other organisms will die. And that is the truth. All right, guys, excellent job on your review. I hope that you did well on your test, but wanted to make sure that we got those questions together. Next, you're going to move on to your lesson for today, which is all about what happens when there are changes in the ecosystem. So we did a little bit of that with this last question. Now we're about to do an entire lesson on the cause and effects of ecosystems. All right, go ahead and click on the next video. Bye-bye.